Okay, I'm inside of a cave. I'm not allowed to tell you the name of the cave. Top secret. But let's just say it rhymes with, I don't remember. All right, here we go. Excuse me. My mouth is getting dry from talking. But anyway, so look at the floor here. Very interesting. Basically, I'm surrounded by formations. It's like a narrow walkway through there. You can kind of tiptoe through the formations, but all over the place, the whole floor. It's got formations everywhere. Some of them are a couple feet tall. Over here, you even have some hanging from the ceiling, too. It's beautiful. So here's some formations over here. Lots of little formations here. So I'm going to stick to the left to go clockwise, as seen from above. Look at the floor, though. Even where I'm standing, it's not officially a formation, but look at that gray stuff, or brown stuff. That's not poop. That's rock. Believe it or not. That one's in the walkway, and it's kind of flat, so I guess you can get away with touching it if you don't believe me. Of course, if I'm lying, well, you'll find out. Anyway, yeah. The only animals that come in this far, I think, are people and bats. I haven't seen any bats in here today, so yeah. It's just me, myself, and Irene. Just so you know where I am, here's that one formation that's kind of crooked. I'm explaining it. It must have formed like that. It's solid rock now. You couldn't bend it back straight or anything weird like that. Please don't try. There's one over there that's crooked too. Not sure how that happened. Lots of little formations over here. About knee high. It's like that. Wasn't there a movie called Tiptoe Through the Tulips? See, we could do a remake. Tiptoe Through the Dripstones. I'm going to squat down though, so it looks more like a little forest. Wow. Oops, gotta be careful that I don't accidentally hit one. Nice shadow there. Wow. Okay, so now I'm standing up again. The camera's about 5 feet off the floor, so there aren't any formations like 10 feet tall in this cave. This is a lava tube, not a limestone cavern, so it's got its limits. Although now that I think about it, I need to look up on the internet, how big is the world's largest dripstone formation? I said if I was rich, you know what I want to do? I want to do an amusement park, make stuff like this artificially. Like, you know, as pretty as Disneyland, but not quite as fake. Like going to the Seven Dwarfs mine, it's a really pretty thing, but compared to a real cave or mine, it's not, well, most caves are mines. You know, it's different, you know what I mean? I don't want to say it's better or worse, it's different. I stepped a little off the beaten path here because there was an opening. I just want to show the wall better. There's a lot of neat little formations on the wall. But yeah, I need to get back over on the beaten path because, like I said, there's formations everywhere. They're small enough that you could accidentally break one if you touch it. So, I'd be super careful not to touch it. What's funny is like 90% of this cave is easy, but the other 10% is like, holy cow. That's a technical term, holy cow. Notice the black, not just on the rock, but on the ceiling above the rock. But notice these flowstone formations, how oh wow, I could get over here. So hold on, I'm gonna go over here so you can look at this one. Oops, I almost stepped on one. Be careful. Okay, so there's that. But yeah, look at the shape of the ceiling here. Well, the formations on the ceiling, you know what I mean? Oops. It's funny, I keep getting the urge to look around really fast, but I know if I do that, there's going to be a lot of motion blur. So I should slow down a notch, but like I said, it's easy to get excited doing something like this. You know, I was reading on the internet that a lot of people on vacation, they're behaving badly because they're taking pictures and videos like me. I try to be mindful of that, not, get in other people's way or disturb the wildlife, etc. But yeah, with or without the camera, I want to see everything. Having the camera just kind of slows me down though, so I get rid of the motion blur. My eyes don't really have motion blur like camera does. The way the brain and the digital camera works, extremely different. Like the type of compression they do. Processing. Like I said, here you can see there's a lot of formations on the left side. It's actually a pretty good walkway right through the middle. There's more formations on the right. So if you ever find a cave like this, take a hint and follow the walkway, please. If there is one. If there isn't one, then you got to figure something out. Oh, wow. Man, I like not just the color, but the shapes in there, in that puddle. It was basically a clear water puddle, and then there's minerals on the bottom. See, I want to get through here, but there's formations all over the floor. But I want to see if I can, oops, let's see. I stepped on a little rock. Anyway, look at that. Look at the way that one formation back there is curved. It, like I said, it formed like that. It's permanent, so please don't touch it. Not that there's a good way to get over there and touch it. Wow, look at the ceiling here. That brown streak. Wow. And the white stuff up there. All sorts of little formations here, but I can't really get close to them. There's a lot of fragile rocks on the floor that I probably shouldn't be touching on. Yeah, stepping on. I can kind of zigzag around a little bit, avoid the big formations, but there's so many little formations here. Like I said, if I owned this cave, I would put in a metal walkway so people can easily walk through without risk of damaging anything. How much metal walkways like that cost? Probably be like, hundreds of dollars per foot. It's got to have handrails too. Like at Yellowstone, they don't have handrails. They just have the boardwalk because they want to make sure wildlife can get through. They don't want to have like a big wild animal trapped on the boardwalk with people. That could get quite unfortunate. Yeah. Or practical, it's good to have a walkway, at least, or a handrail, at least on one side. That's funny. Look at this blob here. It looks like somebody went potty, but it's not. It's like brown rock and then that white stuff. Wow. Cool. So I'm basically past the part of the cave with the biggest formations. So now I'm looking at a lot of little formations. I'm going to go ahead and make it quick now. Just because, once you've seen the 3-foot tall formations, nobody cares about a 6-inch formation. I was building up suspense, but the suspense is now officially done. Of course, you could always play the video in reverse. That'd be kind of funny. But the good news here, because there are fewer formations on the floor, I can get closer to the wall and look at the wall formations. Like, look at that one up there on the wall, shaped kind of like a tuning fork. Heretic fork. A fork. Notice the water is clear, but there's mud underneath it. So there's your first clue that, it brings in dirt, but it flows very, very slowly. It's not a raging river or anything like that. Wow, look at that one up there. Like you have a choice. That's the way I'm pointing the camera. But you know what I mean. You can always close your eyes if it gets too scary. Like I've told people how some of my videos are claustrophobic. Play it on a bigger screen. I didn't even try getting a video of how I got into the entrance of this cave. The entrance of this cave is crazy. It's shaped like a figure 8. So you have to try to climb over the middle. Otherwise you might get stuck. It's a bit too much fun. So look at this. This is the part where there's formations right in the middle, but I have to get past these. So I'm gonna go over here to the left. But this is where the ceiling comes down. So I'm gonna really slowly keep wearing my backpack, but make sure I don't bump my backpack on the ceiling. All right. Like I said, there's a nice collection of small formations here. I'll just show you a couple of the bigger ones here and then move along. All right, so now, wow, hold on a second. Look at the shape of this wall. It's like the ceiling sagged down. And look at the texture on the ceiling. Is that pretty or what? Or what? Okay, just kidding. But all right, so I need to go back over this breakdown pile. This is the way I came. I'm going to keep staying to the left to go through clockwise. So there's a bunch of formations over there on the right, but I already got those on the way in. So you can watch the earlier part of this video if you want to see those formations. Whoa. Stepped on some loose rocks there. Even a small cave like this, I need to be careful. Well, especially, not just the formations, but even on the breakdown rock. Wow. Is this a little bit pretty or what? There's a lot of formations on the floor here, so I can't get much closer, but look at that hanging from the ceiling. It's at least a foot long, but about a quarter inch in diameter. As you can see, there's formations all over the floor, like even right here next to me. So I can't really get any closer. I'm going to go up on this breakdown pile to go around it. Wow. Look up here at the ceiling. Down there is that tall formation. Like I said, I can't really get any closer. Just so you see where I am, turn the light up to 100% here. So look at this. You can see, just like a lot of tubes, the floor is flat, ceiling is arch-shaped, maybe 25, 30 feet tall, 30, 35 feet wide, nice and big. Flat in the middle, but then formations all over the side. Wow. All right. So now my light's back to 30% brightness. Shooting at f over 5.0. The ISO right now is 6400. It's about as good as my camera can get without it being too noisy. Want to have a balance, a low light performance versus picture quality. Obviously, if picture quality really mattered, I'd take pictures, make a 3D model. I don't really live close enough to do that. It'd be a lot of work to keep coming up here enough times to photograph the whole cave and make a 3D video or 3D model. Maybe someday. Notice all the white stuff there. Nice. There's a lot of formations on the floor there too. So again, I'm going to be limited how close I can get to the wall. But I do want to show, there you go. There's formations there on the wall. and the floor, even back underneath this ledge. Okay, just sighing because I'm a little tired. This is a long, hard cave. All right, here we go. Thank goodness for knee pads, though. Best invention. Knee pads, helmet, rechargeable batteries, LED flashlights, digital camera. Okay, now look at this. See how the floor is flat? Then the middle is a cluster formations. I already showed this on the way in, but I want to show it again. So I'm going to turn up the light all the way 100% for temporary. So up on the ceiling, you can see it's kind of dome-shaped. But I'm going to leave the light at 100% for a second so you can see why I'm doing this. Yeah, see, you probably can't tell, but there's a few small formations up there on the ceiling to correspond or correlate to the ones down here. That's all. I just want to show you how the cave is built. All right, there's the way back in the cave. Turn this down to 30% so it doesn't overheat. Again, there's a few small formations on the floor here, but over here in the middle it's mostly flat. Then more formations on the right. But here's the same crack. I showed you how this one crack got bigger right there. So I showed that on the way in. So watch earlier part of the video if you're interested looking that over. Look at this black stuff. Wow, so shiny and glossy. There's a part ahead I haven't done yet today. The side passage, it's even cooler than that. You can see how wet it is. There's obviously water flow coming through here. That's what's bringing the black stuff. That's what's keeping it so shiny. Oops. Okay. So you can see there's a few big formations here, but they're fatter. They're wider than the ones I saw earlier in the cave. Now this is the part I'm almost to, where there's so many formations, they marked a pathway through, so we don't accidentally step on some. But before I do that, look at the ceiling here, how white it is. Some stuff on the ceiling. Minerals, I think, calcium or something equivalent. And look at this big one though. It's almost knee high. At the base, it's probably at least 4 inches in diameter. It's really cool. And then let me show you the ceiling here. It's a nice ceiling. Okay, so let me pan down. So I have to go around this big formation. So now I'm walking on the rough rock. Strictly speaking, all this was formations. Look at this, it's all formations. So technically I'm walking on formations now. It's unavoidable. But this area is already broken down. You see those white markers? That's marking the way through. So I'm gonna follow the pathway because it'll localize any damage done, wear and tear done. Because look at this, it's right next to a big formation on the left, big formation on the right. And then over to the right, there's just formations everywhere. So hopefully by staying to the same path, we can minimize any damage done. Now, to the left, it may look like there aren't formations, but you see that sand? There's actually a formation in there. So don't do that. And then look at this blistering on the ceiling. Don't touch that. That's fragile, but that's really cool too. All right, here we go. Like I said, these white tags, they mark a little path through here to keep the damage localized. They also put it right next to formations. I'll show you in a second. See, like right here, with this white one here, this little formation right next to it. So it's also to get your attention to that formation. But you can see even there, a lot of the ceiling is smooth, but there are a few small formations hanging down. Even on the left side where I am, a few small formations. So I have to be super careful. I'm almost tall enough. Yeah, I could hit that with my helmet. Because I'm about 5'10", but I'm wearing boots, and then my helmet adds a little bit too. So with the helmet, I should measure myself. Probably close to 6 feet. So. Let's see if I can focus on this thing. Yeah, it looks like it's a little too close to focus. Never mind. All right, well, take my word for it. There's a formation like right above me. But I'm going to step over these formations on the floor here. Now I'm back to the part where the cave is huge. What's funny, a lot of lava tubes like this, when it's smooth, it's low ceiling for a while and high ceiling for a while. That's funny, I thought I heard other people. Maybe it's my own echo. Anyway, there could be a second level. I don't think there was a second level to this cave. Huh, I thought I heard voices, but it must be my own echo. I'm not expecting anybody else. People I know are all caving somewhere else. So, anyway, this cave is very difficult to find. So, let's see if I can get up here very, very, very carefully. See if I can look around without hurting myself. Yeah, see, look at all that. There's formations all along the wall there, up above me, even literally up there. And then down here where I am too. So I'm not going to just try to climb the wall, because then I'd be climbing on these formations. That's obviously no good. But even here, look at that. Right along the wall, there's a lot of small formations here and over there. I'm going to work my way to the right, see if I can go forward a bit. Like I said, I'm not going to climb up on the wall, but I can at least, whoops, get this in focus. Appreciate it. There we go. Now that's a cave. Yes, lava tubes are caves, or caverns, or cavities, or holes, or tunnels, or tubes. If it walks like a hole, talks like a hole, it's a hole. All right, here we go. So I had to come down here because I was up on this breakdown rock. I want to make sure I don't step on anything bad. There's one sticking out of the wall there. That'd be a good 3D picture. see how, okay, I'm almost to another breaking point. Switch videos. So notice this black stuff isn't necessarily slippery, but a lot of these rocks are wet too. So long story short, it can be a little bit treacherous climbing around here. I do need to be careful. Like I said, some of these rocks you really can't tell if they're slippery until you actually step on them and see what happens. Not really the safest way to explore, but it's not like there's another way. So let me show you where I am. So there's the wall. There's a dead end up there on the left, and then there's a side passage up there on the left. I think I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now. So start a new one. So hang on a second.